Right, this is my 1978 Chevy Malibu Sport Coupe. I've got a late model 6.2 liter diesel. It was naturally aspirated, came with a turbo 400, and I went ahead and put a crossover pipe on the top that you can see there wrapped up, and also put a HX35 turbo on it. Wastegate's been plugged. I've got my little injection pump turned up at about a quarter. Everything had to be cut off the firewall, so there's no heater, air conditioner, brake booster had to go. So I've got the hydro boost off of the donor vehicle put on there. A lot of the hoses had to be changed, they don't fit to the steering box. So that's modified. Got a 4-row high efficiency radiator. Let's see what else we got. Obviously a big, it's basically like a semi air filter. We've got a oil cooler and a trans cooler tucked in. Can't really see them, but they're in there. You can see all the hoses wrapping around. I did put a heater in here just recently. It's just aftermarket, so cut a couple holes in the little firewall plug there. Let's see. Couldn't close the hood, so I had to cut a hole in that thing and glass it over. That was actually a garbage can from Home Depot. Use it to make a mold. It's not the prettiest thing, but it works, so sticking with it. Other than that, got a different shifter in there. Had to put the batteries in the back. Obviously there's no more room in the front, so I've got two massive batteries in here. There we go. And then run along the frame. So got a boost gauge, pyrometer in there, and it boosts about 10 psi, and it runs pretty good. I'll go ahead and fire it up here in just a second. Go around the block. Still have the glow plug switch and all that hooked up. It's pretty standard. Don't have a light, but you can hear it, so good enough. So there you go. Running straight pipes on this. 3-inch back. Seatbelt on. All right, go for a quick drive. Try not to get in trouble. This thing's not a speed demon, but it does pretty good with the torque, and this being a pretty light car, it takes off pretty good. Spools up real nice, and it's pretty comfy. I pretty much picked this car because it's got a steel frame all the way back, and they use the Malibu for drag racing, so you always got a whole bunch of aftermarket parts. So if you want to swap rear ends, do supports, whatever you want to do, you can just go on the internet and order up one. That saves a lot of time for like the transmission cross member, stuff like that. You can just go ahead and order it. If you pick something else, then you're gonna have to make it yourself, and if you want to get it done in a reasonable time, then it's better to be able to order some of it. This thing took me about 9 months to do, working on it off and on. It took a long time to find the donor vehicle. I wanted it with the transmission and everything already hooked up, so I was able to get a Suburban with a late model 6.2 crate motor in it, already on the turbo 400, so that made it real easy. And a lot of squeezing things in and fine tuning, but really seems to run great. DEQ was kind of rough. They didn't know what to do. They didn't want to let me through, so eventually they ran it as a 78 Caprice, which had that horrible converted 350 in it, but they finally agreed to do that. So anyways, passed that thing, got it insured, got tags, and here we are on the road.